They call me a murderer. They say I waited in the dark like an assassin. 1,517 dead, 705 survivors. One villain? Me. But here is what the history books won't tell you. I was dead before I ever hit them. I was bleeding fresh water into the salt sea for months before the Titanic even left the dock. On April 14, 1912, at 11:40 p.m., the world changed. But I didn't attack them. I didn't move. I didn't hunt. I was just drifting. It was they who ran into me. This is not a story about a hero. This is a story about physics, about coal, and about the arrogance of thinking you can outrun nature. This is my side of the story. To understand the end, you must understand the beginning. And my beginning was not in 1912. I was born 15,000 years ago. Before Rome fell, before the pyramids rose, before your ancestors invented the wheel, I began as a snowflake, billions of us falling silently on the western coast of Greenland. I was soft then, fragile, but time is heavy. Year after year, century after century, more snow fell upon me. The weight became unimaginable. I was buried, pressed down. The air was squeezed out of my lungs. The white fluff turned into hard, blue stone. I became a glacier. Do you know what silence sounds like? Real silence. It is heavy. It rings in your ears. For 10,000 years, I moved inch by inch toward the sea. I absorbed the history of the world in my layers. Volcanic ash from ancient eruptions. Dust from meteors. I held it all inside my frozen chest. I had no concept of humanity. I did not know what a ship was. I did not know what warmth was. I simply existed, a monument to the Ice Age, waiting to be released. Then came the violence. 1910. 2 years before the collision. Gravity finally won. With a roar that shook the bedrock, I snapped. I fell from the mother glacier and plunged into the fjord. The water boiled around me. I rose to the surface, gasping for air. I was free. I was a newborn monster. 2 miles long, weighing millions of tons. And the current caught me. The ocean was a new world. It was wet. It was salty. It was alive. I began the long drift south. The Labrador Current was my conveyor belt. You picture me as a predator, stalking the shipping lanes. But the truth is, I was terrified. The further south I drifted, the warmer it got. The sun became my enemy. I began to sweat. Rivets of fresh water ran down my sides. My structure groaned as the heat cracked my surface. I was dying. Every day, I lost tons of my mass to the sea. I rolled over in the water, changing my shape, becoming smaller, sharper, harder. I was not alone. Whales' great blue shadows swam in my shadow. They sang to me low-frequency songs that vibrated through my core. They knew I was ancient. They treated me with respect. Seabirds rested on my peak. I was an island, a sanctuary. I had no malice. I was just a piece of the planet, moving where the water told me to move. By April 1912, I had reached the shipping lanes of the North Atlantic. I was far from home. I was melting, and I was invisible. Here is a detail your movies forget. Why didn't they see me? The night of April 14th was perfect. Too perfect. The water was freezing, but the air was slightly warmer. This created a mirage, a false horizon. The stars reflected on the water so perfectly that the sea looked like the sky. I was a black object in a black room. No waves broke against my base to create white foam. I was cloaked in physics. I felt them before I saw them. A vibration. Thump, thump, thump. Engines. Steam. Power. It felt alien. A heartbeat that didn't belong in the wild. Then the lights. A city floating on the water. It was beautiful. It was arrogant. It was moving so fast, 22 knots, blindly running through a minefield of ice. I wanted to scream. I am here. I cannot move. Turn away. But ice has no voice. 11:40 p.m. The lookouts shouted. The bells rang. The great ship tried to turn. I felt the water pressure change as the rudder swung. But momentum is a cruel god. You cannot stop a mountain of steel in seconds. The impact was not a crash. It was a caress. A scrape. I felt the steel tickle my submerged flank. I felt the rivets, those tiny iron buttons they trusted with their lives, pop off. Ping, ping, ping. I sliced them open. Not because I wanted to, but because I am harder than steel. I barely lost a cubic foot of ice. They lost everything. The ship passed me. It drifted into the darkness. The engine stopped. The vibration died. I sat there, rocking gently in their wake. I thought that was close. I didn't know I had just killed them. I watched from the shadows. The ship began to kneel. The water, my home, began to swallow it. Then came the sound. It wasn't the sound of metal. It was the sound of voices. Thousands of them. Have you ever heard 1,500 people realize they are going to die? It is a sound that vibrates the air. It is louder than the ocean. I saw the lifeboats. Tiny wooden shells. They rode away, leaving the others behind. 2:20 a.m. The lights failed. The ship broke its back. It groaned a mechanical scream of death and slept beneath the surface. And then, silence. No. The worst part was not the sinking. The worst part was the swimming. The water was 28 degrees Fahrenheit. It burns like fire. I floated among them. Men in tuxedos. Women in nightgowns. They thrashed. They prayed. They called for mothers who were sleeping in warm beds thousands of miles away. I wanted to help them. I wanted to offer my ledges as a raft. But I was too steep, too slippery. I was just a cold witness. Slowly, the voices stopped. One by one. The ocean reclaimed its silence. They became statues in life jackets, bobbing gently against my sides. I touched them. They were cold, like me. Finally, we were the same. The sun rose on April 15th. The rescue ship came. They picked up the living. They left the dead. And they left me. My job was done. The warm waters of the Gulf Stream finally took me. 2 weeks later, I was gone. I melted. My structure collapsed. My ancient memory dissolved into the Atlantic. But listen to me closely now. Matter cannot be created or destroyed. I did not vanish. I changed form. I evaporated into the clouds. I fell as rain over Europe. I fell as snow over America. I flowed into your rivers, into your reservoirs, I am in the concrete of your skyscrapers. I am in the tea you are drinking right now. I am in the tears you cry when you watch the movie about the ship I sank. I am the monster. I am the villain. But I am also you. We are all just water, waiting to return to the ocean. I'm gone. But do not forget, the ice is always waiting.